Hi, and welcome to a very special episode of What's Happening Now. Our entire show today is going to be here at the Sternberg Museum, and we have some really cool things to show you. To start out, we're going to show you an area of the museum that a lot of people haven't seen, and I'm here with Dr. Laura Wilson to talk about the collection. So Laura, thank you so much for taking time today to visit with us.
My pleasure. Great to have you all here.
So tell us about this room that we're getting started in.
So we're in one of our collection rooms. So this is where we house all of our research specimens, and these are really the specimens that form the basis of active research at the museum, at the university. These are what we build our exhibits on, and these are the basis of our education that we do both for in support of the university, for the public, and any guests that we may have here as well. So the room that we're in now, this is what we call our dry collections. This is the Flea Hardy range, and this houses our zoology collection, so recently dead animals. And everything from, we have mammals, we have birds, we have insects in here, so things that preserve really well, you know, skinned or dried and pinned, versus later we'll see our wet collections where we have specimens preserved in alcohol.
Now, one of the things you were showing me, we have some butterflies here,
Yes.
and I thought it was very interesting that there wasn't just one of each kind of butterfly. Tell me why you have multiple examples of the different animals.
Well, the same way as you wouldn't, you know, just pick one neighbor and study that person and think you know everything about the human race by studying one individual. Well, the same is with any sort of organism. So it's really important for us to have the diversity represented by a species, or at least as much of it as possible. So it's important to have multiple examples of males and females, of juveniles and adults, so we can get a better understanding of variation within a population, variation within a type of organism.
It's very, very fascinating. So the examples are there, we have some up here, and then even have some different antlers and that sort of thing up there, right?
We do. So a lot of these, especially with our mammals and birds, are skinned, so the gooey stuff and the bones have been pulled out, and then the feathers and the fur are preserved. And this has really been the basis of what a lot of zoology and natural history studies and museums have been built on. And now we're actually trying to go in and supplement that with things like the bones, so osteology. We have actually the biggest tissue sample, tissue bank in the region here as well. So trying to get diversity within our collection, so people who are interested in genetics as well as looking at physical variation can get the information they need.
Well, excellent. Let's go take a look at some of the wet collections, because there's some pretty cool stuff in there. Now we've moved into the wet collections. Tell us about what we're seeing in here.
So these are some more of our zoology collections. So again, recently dead things, animals that are still alive today that we can go out and collect and then preserve for research. And exhibits and display and education. And so, but these are things that you can't necessarily skin and preserve very well. So are best preserved in a fluid, typically alcohol. So things like our amphibians and our reptiles, our fish, and then we have a couple of birds, especially babies, that again won't preserve as well like we saw in our dry collections. And so you can see a lot of things here, snakes, and you can really get in and start seeing some of the variation as well. These are all the same species, but you can see not only differences in size, differences in colors, and those are really important things for us to understand when we're studying a species.
And for the people that might request a special tour and see this, if this area is terrifying to you, over there's frogs, there's all kinds of things in here, right?
Yeah, so you say if you don't like snakes, it's not just, you know, the snake pit. But we do have a variety of animals as well in here, and then we also have tissue samples. So again, if you're interested in kind of the genetics, then those are available to researchers as well.
Now the next area is the one probably most people would most associate with the Sternberg. So let's go on in there and you can tell us about that last room.
Perfect.
Dr. Wilson, this room is really your specialty.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So these are our paleontology collections, so where we house all of our fossils. And again, you know, the Sternberg, as you mentioned, is very well known for the fossils that we have here, especially the late Cretaceous, so about 80 to 90 million years when Kansas was covered by an ocean, so our big Megacephalosaurus and our big sea turtles and things like that. And you know, it's really interesting when we look at the collection here, and very similar to the zoology collections that we looked at, is that the Sternberg Museum is very much focused on this region when it comes to collection, when it comes to our science. So most of the things within this room were actually found within just a couple county radius of where we are now, so really focusing on Kansas, western Kansas, the central Great Plains region. So we have a really good representation of the fossils and what comes out of the rocks from this region. So we have our big sea creatures from the Cretaceous. We have rhinos and horses and camels from 8 million years ago, the Miocene, when grasslands were first starting to evolve. And then we have our big ice age megafauna, so our mammoths and mastodons and giant ground sloths and cool things like that.
I think it's a fascinating, I told you this earlier, I did never know we had camels in Kansas, and some of those things are just, there's a lot of things here that people would have no idea about. And the big things are what I think about, but you have little bitty things in here too, right?
We do. So, I mean, obviously they take up the most room and they get the most press, and they're the big sexy animals that are our big things. But, you know, we have thousands and thousands of just little tiny mammal teeth, a rodent tooth, and the amount of information that we can get out of a rodent tooth compared to the entire skeleton of a reptile is just so different. I mean, we can look at one tiny microscopic mammal tooth and we know what species it is, what age it is, which tooth it was in the jaw, what it was eating, how big that animal was just from that one tooth.
Well, there's so much here. We could probably do several hours on just this area. But what if somebody were interested in having a special tour? Is that something that is sometimes offered?
Definitely. You can always go to the front desk or call ahead and request a special tour of the Paleontology Collections or of the Zoology Collections. Usually we have some museum staff who's available for that.
Well, Dr. Wilson, thank you so much for your
pleasure.
time. I hope you enjoyed the collections, and we're going to move on to a different part of the museum.
Make a difficult choice an easy one with Cedarview Assisted Living's knowledgeable and caring staff. Your loved one will be professionally taken care of as they transition into their new community. With movies, holiday parties, planned exercises, and games, residents will have opportunities every day to enjoy their time at Cedarview. Multiple room styles are available, ensuring a just right fit for your loved one. Come see Cedarview Assisted Living for yourself next to Sternberg Museum. The care you need, the home you want.
Allface Funeral Chapel and Smith Center can help you and your loved ones prepare for a difficult time with pre-arranged funeral planning. Not only will it be a stress reliever during a tough time, it will save your family money by locking in a guaranteed rate so funeral costs will be less of a burden. Pre-arranged funeral plans now have options to make paying for a funeral easier, such as a 3, 5, and 7-year payment option. Call 785-686-4120 or visit allfacefuneralchapel.com.
The Rusty Tractor in Kensington offers big city dining with a small town feel. The Rusty Tractor features hand-cut steaks, burgers, wraps, and more, all with generous portions and quality products. The Rusty Tractor is proud to serve the area farming communities and welcomes everyone. Come as you are in your boots and jeans. You'll be right at home. Open daily and conveniently located on Highway 36. For more information, find them on Facebook, or for a full menu, visit rustytractorkensington.com.
You should never run out of the important stuff.
Oh, come on!
Thanks, Mark.
If your current wireless plan leaves you at the end of your rope, imagine how you'll feel with Nex-Tech Wireless, with unlimited everything. Nex-Tech Wireless gives you the freedom to go as far as you want. Nex-Tech Wireless, something different.
I'm here with Reese Barrick, and he is the director of the Sternberg Museum, and he's going to tell us a little bit about 2 of the very special Kansas fossils that we have in the museum. So Reese, thanks for taking some time to talk to us today. Tell us a little bit about what we've got behind us there.
Well, Jenny, it's kind of a fun thing. We've got Kansas is an interesting place, and all states always have, you know, the state flower and the state bird and the state tree and things like that. Well, most states have a state fossil also.
Wow, didn't know
As
that.
a matter of fact, all but 3 states have a state fossil. And Kansas was the 4th state that didn't have a state fossil until 2 years ago. And in March of 2014, we got not just 1, but 2 state fossils.
We had to catch up, right?
So we had to catch up. There's actually one other state that has more than 1 state fossil, and that's Nebraska. And they have 3 state fossils, but they're all mammoths.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's okay, but there's like 4 other states that have mammoths as their state fossil, so it's kind of repetitive. On the other hand, our 2 state fossils are very unique in that there is no other state that has anything close to resembling what we have for our state fossils, which I think makes them cooler than any place else. And one of them is behind us, and this is a mosasaur, and it's specifically a Tylosaurus. And Tylosaurus kanzensis is a huge marine reptile, so a big sea monster, that's related to things like a Komodo dragon. So they're sort of vicious meat-eating things that swam around in the seaway about 80 million years ago here in Kansas. And they're probably the second largest type of mosasaur in the whole world. And so it's a very cool beast that's unique as a state fossil. So it's our swimming state fossil. And it's something that I think we can be proud of. And it's one of the individuals that makes you think that, you know, the seaway in Kansas, which, you know, at times might have been several hundred feet deep, was not a place you'd want to go swimming. And you would not want to take your dad's bass boat out into it, because there's some very cool sea monsters. And this would have been the largest and sort of meanest of all of the sort of sea monsters swimming around Kansas, and it's now our state fossil, and it's very cool.
Now, in addition to this fossil here, the sea monster, as you called it, which I know is not the official name, there's one more that you were referring to. So tell us about the other fossil that we've got over there. Obviously not a sea fossil, and I could tell that even by looking, so.
Well, that's cool because there is no other state in the country that has a state fossil that as an animal in life would have flown. And so we have our other state fossil is our flying state fossil, which is a pteranodon. And pteranodons are sort of flying reptiles that are sort of cousins to dinosaurs. And pteranodon is almost exclusively found in Kansas. There's bits and pieces that are found in maybe South Dakota and another place or two, but complete individuals of pteranodons are really strictly only found in Kansas. And they're very large flying reptiles that are neat because they have a very unique sort of head crest that comes up over their skulls. And these guys don't have teeth, and they would fly over the seaway and would be scooping up fish. So they were sort of tied to the seaway, but no, they were flying over it. And so it's another very cool and unique sort of state fossil that is unique to Kansas, and nobody else has anything like that for a state fossil. So we have two very cool, unique state fossils.
Now, did both, obviously probably this specimen did come out of Kansas,
yes,
I would guess, and this one as well behind us?
Yes, these are both actually western Kansas fossils. If you go to the eastern part of the state, there's much older rocks, but out here in western Kansas, the rocks are all sort of Cretaceous age, which is a dinosaur time period. But during that time, Kansas was underwater for the most part, and so we have all kinds of cool sea creatures out here, and these guys are really very representative of western Kansas.
Well, thank you so much, Reese, for taking the time to show us these, and make sure that you take a trip out, because there's a ton of amazing things to see. But I'm glad to learn about our fossils, our two state fossils, and we're going to go outside for our next session.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Let us shop for you. Contact Rogers & Associate to learn more.
The plumber said there's something wrong with my water. It looks like you have hard water. You need a water softener. Let me show you the options we have. Hey, do you guys deliver salt? We sure do. What about drinking water? We have water coolers and drinking water systems. We even have bottled water.
Find us on Facebook and itsbetterwater.com. And remember,
it's not just water, it's better water!
Here come the Men in Black trucks for all your home needs.
If you need repairs or a professional to check your home for damage, call the local guys you know and trust at AquaShield Roofing and Construction. Their 5-year warranty will give you the peace of mind you need from a company that will be there to stand behind their work. Call AquaShield Roofing and Construction at 785-475-2533 or visit aquashieldroofing.com today.
What a girl wants in her home kitchen. Ease of use, flexibility, fun, the latest kitchen design, Frigidaire Professional Real Stainless Steel for fewer finger smudges, a French door refrigerator, convection cooking, a quiet dishwasher. Have the staff at Genuine Appliance in Haze demonstrate new Frigidaire Professional appliances to find what you want. Genuine Appliance at 1224 East 27th in Haze. Everything a girl wants.
The easiest way for you to get anywhere in the country is the Haze Regional Airport. Twice daily flights between Haze and Denver means you are only 45 minutes from over 100 direct flights to get you to your destination as quick as possible. Service from SkyWest has completely changed the flight experience out of Haze thanks to their 50-passenger jets that include complimentary beverages and an in-flight restroom. With free parking and short security lines, there has never been a better time to use the Haze Regional Airport. The next time you travel, check Haze first at flyhaze.com to see the time and money you could save.
We're outside now at the nature trails by the Sternberg Museum. It might be an area that a lot of you don't know about because it's relatively new. I have Marcella McCluskey with me, and Marcella is in the Public Relations Department at the Sternberg. So thank you so much for joining us out here on a sweltering but lovely day in the shade. So what can you tell us about this area?
Well, like she said, the area is relatively new. The trails were actually opened in 2011. There's 2 miles of trails on a 22-acre plot of land, I guess you could say. And it's a great area for kids to come get out in nature, kind of out of the city life. You can find bugs and fossils and cool animals, mammals and reptiles alike. It's used by Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, the camps that we do here at the museum, and people also come take their senior pictures or different professional photos. We've had weddings and lots of just bug collectors, all kinds of things. So that's kind of a really brief overview of what the trails entail.
Well, how did this all get started?
It started just kind of as an idea, and the late Howard Reynolds, who was still alive when we started the trails, it was very important to him to have this kind of area, exactly what I mentioned, a place for everyone, children and adults alike, to get out and get back into nature, a place with water and other prairie, just getting back to nature, back to what Kansas is all about.
I love that there aren't a lot of places in Haze that have water, so that's that's really quite nice in and of itself. But there's different areas depending on where you go here. We're in what's called the amphitheater, is that right?
Correct, yes.
But there's different areas where you'll see different things that are featured. A lot of native plants, is that correct?
That is correct, and hopefully with the restoration that we're currently working on and want to continue, there'll be even more of that. Some of the restoration that we're working on is burning so that we can get new growth, not just the old growth. We're also getting rid of some of the cedar trees, so we're currently removing and ongoing removing lots of cedar trees because they just suck the water out of the land, so other plants struggle as well as animals who need water as well. Some of the other small-scale restoration that we're going to be doing for the prairie is reseeding. So after we burn, we're going to really try to get some more new growth of natural Kansas native plant species, as well as we want to plant pollinator plots because we have bees out here. We have about 60,000 bees that are kept by Greg Swab. The colonies are owned by the Kansas Honey Producers Association, and the honey that's produced here is sold at the Kansas State Fair. So you can get your hands on some of it there. And those flower plots that I mentioned will bloom not just one time of year. The different wildflowers that will be part of those plots will grow and bloom during summer, spring, and fall for the bees to use and pollinate and produce honey with. Also, because we have a lot of kids and people out here exploring, we're going to try to get rid of some of the cactus that grows out here.
I was sharing a story. they have a really fun Easter egg hunt here every year. And I remember the first year my son did it, a few kids maybe tripped and came back with a few little cactus in them. So
yeah.
They still had fun though. They got Easter eggs and
absolutely,
stuff in them,
absolutely.
So it's part of the adventure.
It is.
You know, always working on improving. That's
yes.
great. So for people that want to come here, is this open all year round? Is there anything special that they have to do?
It is open, and it's really open to the public. Anyone can have access to this. Of course, if you pay for admission to the museum, you can get the map of the museum. That also includes a map of the trails. So that's something that could be helpful, but really you can just come out. We have a fire pit, walk your dog. I mean, come out and it really explore. So it's open to anyone all year round.
And something I also noticed as we were walking up here, there was a fishing lure laying on the table. So if people have their fishing license and there's water, which we happen to see that there is
currently
behind us right now, people could even come out here possibly and
sure.
try to catch some fish.
Sure.
I even, and you mentioned pictures, there's a lot of people that I've seen that have taken their photos out here. It really is just an extraordinary area. So it is just west of the Sternberg, correct?
Yes, it is.
So if you're interested in coming out and enjoying the nature trails, just park and head west of the Sternberg. And then there's so much inside that we didn't get to cover. Make sure you come and visit. They have maps. They'll tell you about all the different programs and things there are to explore, or give them a call and I'm sure they'll tell you all about it. Well, thank you again for telling us about the nature trails, and thank you for tuning into this special edition of What's Happening Now.